بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد عن ابن مسعود رضي الله تعالى عنه قال سألت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أي الأعمال أفضل قال الصلاة على وقتها قلت ثم أي قال بر الوالدين قلت ثم أي قال الجهاد في سبيل الله وكما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام رواه البخاري. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned, narrated by Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Saltu Rasulullah, he said, I asked Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Ayyul a'mali afdal, which act is the best? In Islam, which act is the best? And we can see there some other ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Same question, different Sahaba, they asked Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam replied different answer. Like in this hadith you will find different answer, other hadith is different answer. Maybe the majlis, the gathering was different, that's why the answer was different. Like there is one hadith, similar hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked the same question. He said taqra'u salam, say salam ala man arafta wa man lam ta'rif, whoever you know and whoever you don't know, and also feed others. That answer Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave in that hadith. In this hadith, when Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu asked which act is the best, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, as-salatu ala waqtiha, the prayers at their fixed time. The prayers at their fixed time, like whenever the time of salah comes, the best thing is that time that we have to pray salah on time. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, inna salata kanat al mu'minina kitaban mawquta. So whenever the time of salah comes, then we should leave everything away and then come for salah, or wherever you are, perform salah. That is the best act. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he just not stopped there, and then thumma ayyun, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud asked Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after that, this is the first thing you mentioned, and that the best thing is to pray salah on time. And thumma ayyun, what is after that? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said birrul walidain. What is next? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said being dutiful to parents. That the second act best in Islam. That if our parents are alive, we must be dutiful to them, we must serve them, because as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in multiple places in the Quran, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ إِحْسَانًا وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ. Even we can see Sayyidina Luqman alayhi salam, there is a hadith, a surah in the Quran with the name Luqman. Sayyidina Luqman, he advised his own son, and one of the advice that dutiful to your parents. And also other places in the Quran Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned. And then there is a lot of reward that if we serve our parents, even for our mother, for our father, there are a lot of rewards. That's a huge chapter, and inshallah we discuss different times. But be dutiful to your parents if your parents are alive. Birrul walidain. And then thumma ayyun, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu asked, then I asked what is next. First is salah, second is birrul walidain, and dutiful to being dutiful to parents. And thumma ayyun, what is next? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said al jihadu fi sabilillah, striving in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the third thing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned. Number one is praying salah on time. Number two, being dutiful to the parents. And number three is striving or struggling for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we should try our best that if whenever the salah time comes, inshallah, make sure we are praying salah on time. We are not delaying salah. Maybe we have no idea, like we are alive now for Isha salah, we have no guarantee that we will be alive for Fajr salah. So that's why every time the ulama, they mention that every salah, the way when you perform salah, think maybe this is my last salah. Just imagine if someone tells us that this is your last salah, you will not get chance after that to perform salah. How will we perform salah? We can see the sincerity, we can see how we will make wudu for that salah, how will we make intention to perform salah, and how we will be focused in that salah, because we know that I have no chance for next salah. Imagine if we perform each and every salah like that, then we will enjoy the salah. As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Qurratu aini," the coolness of my eyes are in salah. And he will be so happy, and he was so happy when he was performing salah. We can see in the Quran Allah mentioned, "Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ista'inu bis-sabri was-salah." When and that was the sunnah and the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whenever he had any difficulty, he used to perform salah. And even sometime there is no difficulty, still he was performing salah. Like there is very famous hadith of Sayyidah Aisha Ummul Mu'mineen radiyallahu ta'ala anha, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was performing long salah during night. And she asked, "Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why are you doing that? Why are you performing too long salah?" Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Afala akuna abdan shakura?" Am I should not be a thankful slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yeah, yeah. Even though that was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even though there is no doubt that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last prophet, final prophet, and he did not commit any sin in his entire life, but he was performing istighfar 70 times. Another hadith is 100 times, and he performing long salah. The whole night he was standing for salah. Just being a slave, a thankful slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If he was doing that, we should do more, definitely. And then as-salatu ala waqtiha, and then birrul walidain. If our parents are alive, be dutiful to them, inshallah, serve them as much as you can. This is the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because when we don't have parents, then we think that, then we will realize. Because now if someone's parents are alive, serve them and do as much as you can, and take their du'as, because they have no no interest. They just freely are making dua for you. Whenever you do something, in their du'as, there is no hijab between their du'as and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why the father, another hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not reject the dua of a father when he makes dua. Just imagine if he is making dua in your favor, Allah will accept it. But if we are not serving our parents and they are unhappy, then definitely Allah also will answer their dua, accept their dua. That's why be very, very careful that when our parents are there, we must serve them and take their du'as, inshaAllah. And then al-jihadu fi sabilillah, striving in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us act upon it, inshaAllah. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء المرسلين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم أحسن عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها وأجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك اللهم إنا نسألك تمام العافية اللهم إنا نسألك دوام العافية اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين اللهم ارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين اللهم اكفنا بحلالك عن حرامك وأغننا بفضلك عمن سواك اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر المسلمين في سبيلك في كل مكان اللهم انصر المسلمين في فلسطين اللهم أصلح أحوال المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين.